Lower.
Game strong, let's break the mold. Chasing the stories yet untold. Passion ignites like a blazing fire. Knowledge takes us higher, higher. Out of the box where the wild ones play. We see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. The field's alive with endless dreams. We're more than stats, we're the in-between. A slam dunk thought.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Sully Squad. Like I said on the little preview, you know, life comes at you fast. I mean, last week, the Sixers are coming off an all-time coming back from a 3-1 deficit, beating their arch rival Celtics, and we're getting ready for Game 1 in New York. This time last week, the Flyers were down 1-0 to Carolina, but coming off of a big win against Pittsburgh, their arch rival. And the Phillies were still in the Phillies were still in the beginning stages of the Don Mattingly era. Fast forward a week, you got two sweeps. And a Phillies baseball team that's only the Phillies lost two games this week. What were they, 5-2? I think they were 5-2. They lost lost one.
They're tied with the Nationals and the Marlins. They're all three of them are 9 games out.
Yeah, so lots to get into. Not much of it is good except for obviously the Phillies, and it was nice to see Alec Boehm had a couple big hits yesterday. I mean, boy, that was a change,
And Stott hit a couple of homers.
Yeah, so the Phillies are starting to turn it around. I want to get a lot of good Flyers talk because to me the Flyers are the more positive story of the winner teams because they did play a team in Carolina, that swept them, but. The Flyers were in 2 of those 4 games. I mean, 2 games went overtime. They could have just as easily had won game 2 and won game 4. So some encouraging things about the Flyers, but let's start off the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, first off, an all-time embarrassment yesterday. I mean, all the national media's, by the way, fuck the national media because and I get it. Okay, it looked bad. There were a lot of Knicks fans. The Knicks took over. But let's keep it real. That shit doesn't happen at Flyers games. It doesn't happen at Eagles games. It doesn't really happen at Phillies games. I hate to say it, but the Philadelphia 76ers kind of set themselves up for this, John. I mean, you had all these years of this fucking process. And the other thing is, too, I give Embiid props for coming back and playing against the Celtics. But all these years of telling fans the regular season doesn't mean shit. We're resting guys, getting ready for the playoffs, all this stuff. Well, then when that kind of shit happens, when you fall behind a team, the fans are like, all right, well, you know what? And even this series, like Embiid, I give him credit for coming back, but he missed his game too. So fans are like, fuck this shit. If I got a chance to make $500, I'm selling them to New Yorkers. So anyway, I'll go around the horn here. Where are the Sixers at? Diego, I'll start with you. I feel like the Sixers are in purgatory. They have unmovable contracts. They're probably going to run it back next year and hope to add. And one little quick note, as I was sitting here, I don't know how accurate this is, but Howard Eskin put on there that it looks like Daryl Morey might be on life support. So we might be having a new GM. But Diego, I'll start with you. Where's this team at? Is there any hope? And should they possibly blow it up now?
I don't know if they can. I think they're kind of stuck in purgatory, like you said. This is the team we're probably going to get next year. They're probably going to win 50 games. Like, they won 45. They won 45 games this year. Paul George and Embiid missed like 35 games each. They probably would have won, 55 games? 57 games? So, they're probably,
tougher league next year, though. I'd just like to point out, because you had a Pacers team that was hurt this year. You had a Wizards team that sucks. By the way, watch out for that Wizards team. All of a sudden,
they'll be good, but they'll be like that rookie team that's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're going to trade that pick. I'm telling you right now, something's up. They're going to work their magic with something.
Nah, they're not going to trade the first pick. That kid is it has a possibility of being a generational player.
Okay.
I got a comment. Jay Dolinsky 1112 said it's the same thing for Union fans. It's all Philly team. Shaking my head. Yeah, man, I hear you. So
what are they going to do? They're going to, all right. So they fired Daryl Morey. Can they get what contracts can they get out of? They can get out of Grimes, right? Grimes is gone. Can they get out of Oubre?
Yeah. So what I was reading, you could get out of Grimes, you could get out of Oubre, you could get out of Drummond, because they all had player options last year. I think this year I think all three are like free agents this year, so they could get out of that. But the problem is, though,
go into the luxury tax a little bit. Get a couple. You got to try to fill this team in what you got with guys who fit the role better. You've seen this year what they needed. What they needed, like Kelly Oubre was a solid player to have. If you can get a Kelly Oubre that can actually make a three consistently day in and day out for a decent price, a player like that. Grimes sucked.
Yeah,
you can get a player that's more productive than that. Every time Embiid went to the bench in a 6 out of 8 point lead, he came back. They were down 4. They were down 8.
I agree with this, except for Embiid. Embiid's not going to come off the bench, though, but not at $60 million a year. But I do agree with Maurice Wright. Hopefully, the 22nd pick is a center / power forward. Like I was already looking at a mock draft yesterday, which obviously it's too early, but there's a kid from Washington that's like a German kid that can like shoot the ball, decent athlete. I think he's like 6'10", 6'11". That would be the kind of guy I'd be looking for, because, like you said, guys, I mean, you really can't blow this team. If you were going to blow this team up, in all honesty, the guy that you would trade, believe it or not, would be Maxey, because Maxey's the only guy. No, Jeff, I hear you. No, listen.
You're right. He's the only person that has value. Or VJ Esco.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. So
we're not doing that.
Nope.
Jeff, I'm not. I know, Jeff, I hear you, but here's the thing. I'm not advocating for it, but if you look at it, you can't move George. You can't move Embiid. You might be able to move George after next year, because Paul George after next year will be an expiring $50 million contract, which you might be able to move, but because a team might say, hey, you know what? Fuck it. I'll bring Paul George in and I'll give you my trash plus a draft pick. But I don't even know if you want to do that if you're the Sixers, because then you're taking on teams, then you're taking on a bunch of guys from a team with longer term contracts, because they're just trying to get cap space. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But you could trade Maxey right now.
I don't mind Paul George. I mean, the guy that really messes everything up because of how much money he makes is Joel Embiid. Regardless of how good I think he is, with all that money allocated to a player who barely plays. When he plays, he's playing like 60%. You know what I mean? You're kind of hamstrung.
They need. So I'll throw.
Paul George at least can run with Maxey and Embiid. Paul George can at least run with these guys when Embiid's not on the court. They beat Boston with Paul George running with Maxey and VJ Esco. I think he's less of a problem when it comes to actually being able to structure a real team. Embiid's the real problem. His money's the real problem.
Here's my 2 cents, or actually 1 cent. Actually, we don't have pennies anymore, do we?
No.
I've my championship for the Sixers was just beating the shit out of Boston, because I hate fucking Boston ever since Julius Erving and Larry Bird got into that fist fight. I've hated Boston ever since then. So that was my championship. The Sixers aren't going anywhere for at least 5, 6, 7 years. Too many other teams are too strong. We've got players that just are not good enough, and just getting into the playoffs is just not good enough. So you get into the playoffs, okay? But they're not going to go any further. Embiid's got to figure out whether he wants to be able to play with his kid or not. They had an interview supposedly with him just before he came back and played in this last series, saying that he was contemplating possibly, not playing anymore in his career because there's nothing left in his knee. There's no cartilage left. He's never going to be the way he wants to be. He came out and straight said it. Would I have loved to won? Yes, I haven't won anything, but I still am one of the best power forwards ever in the game. Well, yeah, they'll remember your name. So take that and retire. That's my point of view from what he's kind of saying. They don't need him around this. They need to get rid of George. To find some way they can do it. Get somebody in here that's creative, not the same old schleps of GMs that are around. They just all kick around the same teams and all that shit. They need to get somebody different in here, clear some of these other pieces of shit out that we don't need, and start over. Let everybody know, look, it's a start over. This process never worked. Don't even call a process anymore. The process is done. Just start from scratch. You got to have Maxey here. You got to have VJ here. You got to, the couple guys you have to have here.
Well, Embiid's going to be here because $180 million, he's not going to play for it.
They could figure out a way to get out of the contract and pay him.
You can't. There's no way. There's not a way.
I say bullshit. Not to you guys, but I say bullshit. There's always a way.
How?
Just when you think there's never a way to do something in any kind of contract, something comes up. Somebody gets a Bobby Bonilla type contract. Something, you know what I mean? He's still getting paid. Those kinds of shit. Maybe there's some kind of maybe he retires because he gets an injury retirement.
Look what just happened with Kawhi Leonard for getting paid outside of his contract.
He can get out on an injury retirement. So if he retires because he's physically not fit to be able to play, you can collect the insurance and get out of the contract. There are ways to get out.
Embiid just said when he got interviewed yesterday that he feels like they figured out the knee. So he's definitely going to try to.
He wants to assess what's going to happen with the knee over the summer to see what's going to happen. He has no cartilage left. You've seen, it's just. I understand it's in his head what he can and can't do. Obviously, every player wants to play until they basically can't walk, but I mean, he really needs to step back and see. Seriously, am I going to be able to walk later, or am I going to have this metal brace on my leg and walk like Robotron?
I think with that extra $180 million he's going to collect for playing basketball over the next 3 years, his leg will be better after he retires than it is now.
And he goes to the bench and he plays sparingly. And if he doesn't like it,
it's just not going to. That's not in reality. Embiid's coming back. Paul George is coming back. Maxey's coming back. VJ's coming back. They're coming back.
Sean,
you can get a Drummond, you can get a Oubre, you can get a Grimes. Bona, I guess. What do you do with Bona? Can he just go away?
You could.
Don't know. Sean, do you think they're going to be anything within 4 or 5 years? When we don't know, some teams can turn things around, but for what we have now, do you think that they can do anything with
Joey Diego said unfortunately we are stuck with Paul George and Embiid. Between them, with the 2 years left, it's $231 million. And I mean, if anybody has to go, it's Josh Harris to me, the owner, man.
100%.
I think we all can agree. He doesn't care about winning. He cares about how many teams he has. The Devils, the Commanders. I can go on and on.
Saying that real quick, I want to jump in. I believe that there should be a rule that you can only own one team across all 4 major sports. You shouldn't be allowed to invest in other teams.
A guy I work with said, for example, it's not sports related. Chick-fil-A, you can own 2 franchises and that's it. You own Chick-fil-A and McDonald's, you lose one, you're done.
Right,
but. It's here.
That makes sense to me because your mind. That's like saying Ed Snyder owned the Flyers and let's just say whoever, I don't know, the Bulls. Okay, he was always Flyers since the beginning, so he would put more into the Flyers than he would the Bulls. That's just how it is. Josh Harris is all for Washington now. He wants to build that up.
Oh, yeah. And he said something. I think Joey brought it up. Something about like when the Eagles were playing the Redskins. Like, dude, shut up. Like, don't root for. But
Well,
it sucks for
I just
the Sixers guys. But it's definitely a rebuilding process
Mhm.
for sure.
yeah,
I
but
feel like they definitely need some. They need someone who can really hit a 3-point shot. You know,
yeah,
a Pritchard,
True.
a fucking Hauser. Even Mikal Bridges was hitting his open shots, and he shot 25% from three. Like,
Can I
we
ask you?
need guys to hit open shot. Oubright, literally, there was fucking 4 games in the playoffs where there's points in these games where this guy was getting 4, 5, 6 open
Diego,
threes
at this
and missing
point,
6 of them.
Hmm.
okay, at this point, okay,
There's got to be
you
another player that's worth just as much or even a little bit less that can do a better job. Look at Isaiah Joe. He don't get paid
let
what
me, let
Oubright
me
gets
put this
paid.
to you, Diego. You're a 3-point shooter in the league, and you got a great 3-point shot. Okay, perfect guy that would be able to fit in the Sixers. You got 4 teams after you. One of them's the Sixers. Who looks appealing to you? Probably the other 3 teams.
Why?
Sixers don't look appealing.
I disagree. I just got done saying Kelly Oubre's missing 5, 6 open threes.
Well,
He's
then
not
Yeah.
he's a
missing
good 3-point
contested
shooter.
threes. The shooter's not coming here and having some dude up in his face, and he has to win 1-on-1. He literally got to stand there, let Maxey drive to the paint, play the pick and roll with Embiid, and be wide open every single time. Even look at them last 2 Knicks games. We lost. We got blown out in 2 of them games because VJ Edgecombe couldn't hit his wide open threes. And I don't want to blame a rookie. But when your rookie's taking 6, 7 3-pointers a game and he's only going 1 for 7, and he's playing 36 minutes, you're probably going to lose that game. He's playing a key role in the offense.
Well, that's where your coach
Kelly
needs to get on
Oubre,
him.
you're picking up
The coach
6
tells him,
threes.
don't
You're playing a
shoot
key
those
role. You
fast
got to
away.
hit your shots.
But here's
The
the
Knicks
question.
were hitting their shots.
I'm
The
gonna
Knicks
put this
hit
in
their
with
shots against Atlanta. They hit their shot. The role players hit their shots. That's how you
try this in
win.
with the Flyers. The Flyers, way back, were the team everybody wanted to be on. Everybody wanted to play for the Flyers. Ed Snyder, get these guys in here. They wanted to play for the Flyers. Then the Flyers went through all this rough patch that we know they went through, and nobody wanted to come here. All these big names were supposed to come here. They didn't want to come here because they knew it was basically a black hole for a while.
We're not getting a big. See, that's the thing. That we're not getting. We're not getting a big name.
Players out there. There's
We're
some
not getting
names
a
out
big
there.
name.
What's that?
We're not getting a big name. We're not getting a big name. We're going after a fit guy, a fit starter. Someone to take over Kelly Oubre's role. We're not going after a big name. We need a guy who's probably like, you know what? I didn't do great last season, right? I'm going to
Serviceable.
get signed by the Sixers on a 1-year deal, and I'm going to shoot 40% again like I did 2 years ago. A guy like that the Sixers need.
yeah.
That
I
we
mean,
thought Kelly Oubre was going to be.
yeah. To be honest with you, looking at
They
that
need a talent
series-
scout.
No,
They need a talent evaluator. Do you agree? I don't think they have a good talent evaluator out there for these third-party guys that you're kind of talking about. I don't think they know who to pick up.
I agree. I agree to a point, but then in some ways I disagree because I'm going to explain why. I mean, for all his faults, Daryl Morey actually drafted really well the last few years, and I put part of it on the ownership because they ducked the tax. Like I'll give you an example.
There's Harris.
This weekend I'm flipping channels, right? Fucking Detroit Pistons game. I watched Paul Reed score 7 points in like a few minutes span. You're telling me Paul Reed wouldn't be better off as a backup to Embiid in this series, right? That's one.
100%.
Julian Champagne of San Antonio shooting excellent from 3-point range.
The best 3-point shooter in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, exactly. He's playing great. The Sixers had him. They had him to bring
who
up.
got rid of him? Who got rid of him? Morey.
Yeah, I know. Hang on. I'm blaming the
Oh,
owner.
okay. Well, yeah.
I'm blaming the owner too because they ducked the tax. It's not just Morey, it's the owner. So, but
Sure.
I know, but here's my point. Morey found the fucking guy, though. You're talking about evaluating talent. Morey found Champagne off the street. Morey drafted Paul Reed in the second round. Morey drafted Isaiah Joe, who's contributing for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They got rid of him. Morey drafted
McLean.
Morey drafted McCain 16th overall. I have a lot of issues with Daryl Morey. His cap man, signing these big
There you
contracts,
go.
all this shit. But he is drafted well. The team lets go of the fucking guys.
Well,
Like, you can say what you want. The Sixers got their ass kicked 2 of the 4 games. Game 2 was winnable if they had any type of bench. If you had a Paul Reed coming off the bench, if you had a McCain,
If you got that dude Champagne, that dude's playing key minutes for San Antonio. You're telling me we wouldn't be better off with his shooting than fucking Kelly Oubre shooting?
right? And then the other thing, to your point on the Sixers, like to Diego said, the Sixers had wide open shot after wide open shot. The Sixers' problem was the fact that they couldn't. It's a make-miss league. The Sixers were missing their wide open shots.
Yeah.
The Sixers' main problem, and this is the problem going forward, Joel Embiid can't play defense anymore.
No, he can't.
The Knicks, Joel Embiid looks like fat ass when Shaq was fat on the fucking Cavs, right?
And this league's different. It's not that league where you can be like that.
Yeah. The fucking Knicks, every single possession down, the Knicks literally found a way to fucking 2-man game the fuck out of Embiid. Then when they took Embiid out, they put Drummond in. Drummond didn't know what the fuck he was doing. The Knicks hit at least 3 wide open 3-pointers because Drummond, and then even Barlow, even though Barlow's a fucking good athlete, Barlow's really dumb too. I saw Barlow fuck up at least 3 coverages.
Yeah.
And Maxey was like, fuck, dude. They were getting
Yeah.
You know, like, I agree with Eddie Prather. I think Josh Harris is the big problem, but the problem is he ain't going to sell the team. So, all right, so let's kind of it's easy to say, it's easy for us to say, let's get rid of Embiid, let's get rid of George, but in reality, everybody's probably coming back. So how does the team get better? Well, I think you got to draft you got to pray that there's a young big at 22 that could fucking
even not even a backup for Embiid. How about someone that can, if there's someone out there that can play next to him, that can still stretch the floor and help him rebound, like where you can kind of maybe hide Embiid in the fucking corner and you don't let them get that 2-man game off of you. Yeah, someone who's athletic to fucking to like step over for him and let him kind of like just shade off and protect that corner 3.
Yeah,
there's a kid from Michigan, 7'3".
Don't we have any like scouts that can go into like Sudan or something and find those big guys?
Every I know I hear you, but every team has that. But that's why.
How many of them dudes actually come in the league? Like how many can you remember? Luol Deng.
No, well, you got what's his face? He played with the Sixers. What's
Manute Bol?
Manute Bol, thank you.
That dude sucks. He stinks. He's about to be playing in fucking China.
No, he's talking about his dad.
Manute Bol.
Yeah, Manute Bol.
No, before that day.
Not Bol.
Yeah.
Manute Bol.
Yeah.
Was he good? Was he good?
Yes.
Who, Manute Bol? Well, nah. Well, he was
a shot blocker. I mean, he had what was his wingspan? Like 10 foot?
Yeah, I mean, he could block a shot, and then he had one game, I think he had like 7 3-pointers. It was amazing.
It was better than Sean Bradley. Let's put it that way. The great white hope.
Yeah, my biggest fear. I think the team. I think they bring everybody back. They try to improve on the margins. And then we're sitting here exactly a year from now with the same exact conversation, except at that point, to be honest with you, at that point, I'm on the, okay, you know what? This really blows. I'm on the, you know what? Maxey's the only guy with trade value. You just.
And VJ will have trade value. Those two.
We're not trading VJ.
Yeah, you're not going to trade VJ, Jeff.
No, but he's got trade value. When you're talking about, they're the big two.
Right.
Big names. Yeah.
True, but that didn't happen.
Great.
Eddie Prather says maybe let Howie run the Sixers as a side job.
It'd be a blessing if Laurie could buy the Sixers. You know what I mean? It sounds funny, but get rid of Josh Harris, just like we said.
Yeah.
He does not care about this team. Plain and simple.
Here's Paul Spencer with a comment. First off, shout out to Paul for getting engaged. Congratulations, Paul.
Shout out, Paul.
I would love to see Charles Barkley get a group together and come in and buy out the Sixers. Then you'd see shit happen.
I would like to see them get a young GM that's like actually like, you know,
a
Doing
whippersnapper,
numbers.
He's in his fucking head about how to build a basketball team.
like a Theo Epstein of the baseball league, come in and take the Sixers.
Who?
Theo Epstein. The Red Sox got them to a World Series. The Cubs.
Oh,
Dude,
like
if he
Epstein.
knows talent in basketball and knows how to build around Maxey and Embiid on the margins, like Joe said they're going to, then that whoever that guy is.
The problem is you can't. In a way, you can't really.
Like, I don't
build
think
around
Charles
Embiid
Barkley's
anymore.
going to
That's
come
the
in and be
problem.
like this mathematician whiz and be able to make contracts work and shit like that, and like be able to be a great GM. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We need a great GM in here. Honestly, we need someone to come in and do what Daryl Morey did with the Al Horford contract.
Mhm.
How he got rid of that contract, we were like, we're stuck with that shit. We weren't. That's a genius GM. I know he's shit the bed since, maybe giving Paul George a contract, but let's not forget he fucking pretty much bailed out Elton Brand and at least got people
Who
bought
was
in
the
again.
GM during the Pat Croce days?
Billy King.
That's what they need. Billy King was good. I thought
They
Billy King
need
was
Pat
pretty damn
Croce.
good. I don't know why he left.
You know, I was going to say,
That was fun if you think about that. If you remember that was a fun team just to be around in general, to watch. You had a lot of excitement.
Yeah, hang on. I got another one. Paul Spencer says Harris is the new Jerry Jones, bad contracts. I mean, the one thing, not to defend Daryl Morey, not to defend Morey and not to defend Nick Nurse, because they have made some bad choices. But I mean, in all fairness, though, you know, let's kind of be real a little bit. Being general manager of the Sixers is probably one of the hardest jobs in all professional sports. Because think about it, right? You got a guy in Joel Embiid who talent-wise might be the greatest, might be arguably the most talented big man that's ever played in this league, and especially the last 40 years, right?
Yeah.
So you got a guy in Embiid who literally, if he ever could put it together and play, you know, you could win a champion. No, listen, but
You're right.
you can win a championship. So if you're the general manager, you know, what do you do? Because like you have an owner that goes, well, the minute we trade Embiid, our ticket sales are going out the window, and I'm not ready to do that. So I want you to build a team around Embiid, right? Then he sits there and goes, well, fuck, how do I build a team around this guy? He never fucking plays. So then in 2024, they finally have cap space. The only guy to offer money to out there is Paul George. Like, maybe he could have thought outside the box and maybe made a trade. I'll give you that. Maybe he should have thought a little bit more outside the box. But again, on the premise that you're going to have Embiid, you look to yourself and you go, well, you know what? Hey, if I get a Paul George healthy with a healthy Embiid, with a healthy with a Maxey, you know, and I could put some guys like Oubre and maybe some shooters around him, maybe I can win. Then the first year Paul George is here, he never fucking plays and Embiid never plays. And you're like, fuck, what am I going to do here?
Yeah.
Now this year, you come into this year, you got VJ Edgecombe, a good rookie, you know, and then you have Maxey takes a step up. Embiid plays 38 of the fucking 82 games, and Paul George misses a ton of time, and you still win 45 games. So then you go into the playoffs as a 7 seed, right? Which is hard. I mean, it's hard as fuck to make it in the NBA as a 7 seed. Now, you know, like I said, it's a hard job. Morey should have done better. The bench is where I fucking fault Josh Harris, the owner, and Morey for getting rid of him. The bench is where they fucked up. But the rest of the team, it's kind of like not to make excuses, but it's like, well, what the fuck do you do?
Yeah, there's not much any owner can do, right?
Yeah, you know, the only thing you could do, and Jeff, you won't like this. Whether they either go forward next year with what they got and they say, fuck it, we're taking one more year and that's it. We're going to try to improve on the margins. If that shit don't work, I know it's controversial, but then at that point you got to trade fucking Maxey, because the problem is if you keep Maxey, you're basically like the fucking Wizards with Bradley Beal. You know what I'm saying? You're the Wizards with Bradley Beal. Like, yeah, you have Maxey and VJ. It'll be like
Yeah, but like,
Jared
how
Allen.
old's Maxi once you can get it? Once you got a PG and once you got a Joel Embiid, does that give you enough money to sign a couple players that fucking pretty much compete right away again?
Well, maybe the other because Maxey's only 25 now. I mean, maybe you don't have to trade Maxey, but maybe you could keep Maxey because then again they're changing the lottery rules, so it does.
No
So
tanking.
maybe you run it back this year. Then maybe you do keep Maxey because tanking actually really doesn't. Like at the top, I think the bottom 3 or the bottom 4 don't have any better odds than 7 or 8. So maybe you just say fuck it. I don't know. I'm running out of ideas.
The Sixers remind me of the Angels. Mike Trout, probably one of the best players in baseball,
right.
along with Ohtani and stuff, and they get screwed because he's always hurt. Unbelievable baseball player when he's in there. But you can't really build around him because he's always hurt. Shoten had to leave. Unfortunately, that's kind of Embiid. Embiid got to leave. But those young guys aren't going to stick around anymore. Like you said, Max is probably going to, if you don't start building around this team with me and with VJ, I want out of here. How many years do we have Maxey for? He's not going to get, he's not getting any younger. He's going to start slowing down. So who knows how many years? I don't foresee anything happening. Like I said, I'm not as huge of a Sixers fan as you guys are. I just, looking from the outside, I don't see anything happening.
I mean, how old is Maxey? 27? 26?
I think he's 25.
Yeah, I think
25. Maxey's still going to play for 10 years.
Okay, so he's. I didn't know he was that young coming in. That's
what I'm saying. Like, I'm not pulling the trigger so quick on Maxey because of his age.
Yeah.
If I'm out of Embiid and I'm out of George by Maxey being 27 years old, I got a fucking 21-year-old VJ Etchko?
Yeah.
Yeah, Maxey would be 20. Yeah, I mean, you're right, because Maxey.
And then now I can really load up. Now I can really build a team, right? Now I just cleared all that cap. I got to give VJ some money because he's going to be an all-star. And then now I can really grab a center like I don't know, like fucking Detroit, the dude Durant, who's like, he's not that good, but he gets boards. You know what I'm saying? He can fucking run the pick and roll, and he's a Durant at the basket, like the dude Mitchell. Like, you don't need a star center, but then you can grab the best small forward out there. And you want to know who wants to come to Philly, Jeff? With 2 star guys, if they plan out to be who they are. With Embiid and Paul George gone, now you might actually have something people want to play more modern NBA with.
I agree 100%. That's who would want to come to Philadelphia. But
I think that's honestly, I think there's no other. There's no other way back for the Sixers to go about. They got to run it back this year, and they got to run it back next year, and it is what it is.
As great as Embiid has been, and like you said, he is one of the best big men ever, maybe to play the game. I mean, obviously,
when healthy.
Healthy is the best. Exactly. He's the best center I ever saw.
And like he said, he's done with defense. He's limited. So right this second, who would want to come here? Well, maybe somebody that wants to try and do a 1-year contract, get themselves back in the league, and then sign kind of like the Phillies do. Get a guy in here for a year, and they want to go somewhere else, and they get big money.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's going to have to be for the next 2 years.
And that's what I'm saying. So it's just going to be like it's almost going to be like the Phillies part 2. Run it back over again.
Hey, here's a way to get better on the margins. So there's a rumor here. It says early talks surrounding the Thunder, number 12 and number 17, from rival executives is that Sam Presti and OKC will be looking to move one of these top 20 picks for future assets. Now that's a thought because the Sixers got fucked. The Sixers not only got fucked in the game yesterday, they got fucked in the lottery too because the Clippers wound up getting the 5th pick. So here's something that I would suggest. I know this might not sound popular, but everybody's banking on that Clippers 2028 pick like it's going to be some great thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not 100% sure about that because now the Clippers pick 5th overall. They already have Darius Garland, and they're going to be out of Kawhi's contract in a few years. And free agents go there. So my question to you guys is, being that you're going to run it back, would you consider trading that Clippers 28 pick for say maybe something else for number 12 overall in this deep draft?
How deep is it?
Huh?
How deep is it?
Well, people are saying that this draft, the 12th pick would be equivalent of like maybe like the 6th or 7th pick another year.
What's it deep in now? Guards, centers.
It's deep in a lot of things, but if you're sitting there at number 12, there could be like a really good, there could be a good young wing.
If I could grab a wing, if I could trade that pick, grab a wing, and then grab a center or like one of them guys we were talking about, a guy that could play next to him, be to hit a 3 and rebounds, I would do it. Why not?
But the big thing with the draft in any sport with me, I mean, it's worse in I'm going to say in hockey and baseball, but for football and basketball, because sometimes they just play right away, as you know, you can pick a loser. Like, how would you have liked to had Ace Bailey here instead of VJ? I think we lucked out with VJ and got the right guy. I don't think Bailey would have been good here.
Yeah, but
so we lucked out there. So how do we know this 12th pick that we get is going to be any good? He could be a stiff. We could take a Sean Bradley. You never know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but you can't make a trade thinking that. Like,
no, I understand.
If you see a player, you work them out, you love them. You can look at that 28 pick and you go, I value this player's workout right now over that 28 possible player. Then you do it.
Sure, I'm just saying. But in the long run, I mean, if you really think about it, in the back of your head, to a point, it is a crapshoot because you can have a player that's constantly hurt or doesn't play or just absolutely sucks. Who was it? The Carter, the guy we had, remember? Won the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, Michael Carter Williams.
Yeah, and then he turned out to be nothing. At first, I'm like, holy shit, we got a really good player. It's to me, it's just a crapshoot. I don't know. I'm just down on the Sixers because running it back, it's just the same old thing over and over. And it's a shame, like I said, for some of the young guys on the team, especially with Maxey and VJ, because you can definitely work with them. It's just frustrating because the Phillies have run it back, and we see what's kind of happening with them.
I mean, and they might just have to fire the coach. I'm not saying Nick Nurse might not be the worst coach, but I mean, would you take Joe? I would take Joe Mazzulla.
Hey, can I tell you guys something real quick? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm looking at a mock NBA draft. The 12th pick overall is Yaxel Lendenberg, 6'9", Michigan senior forward. Now that's a guy 6'9", can shoot. And then a 13th pick overall, Miami Heat, Dalen Swain, 6'8", Texas junior wing. I mean, there's, you could get yourself possibly an athlete that could fit in with these guys. I mean, I would consider it. Like I said, I don't love the idea of giving up the 28 Clippers pick because that could turn out to be a hell of a pick. But, I don't know. This team needs help right now. You know what I mean? And I feel like if this is a deep draft, there's no guarantee that Clippers pick's not going to be like 12th or 13th, 14th in a few years. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. I would consider it, but we'll see what happens.
I also think six are in a really bad spot. But thinking of what the age is of Tyrese Maxey and what the age is of BJ Edgecombe, instead of like most teams, like when they lose their star players, they kind of just take a shit for a while. Oh. Sixers could have a relatively easy transition to continue winning for a little while.
Yeah, different style with those. Yeah, with the big guys per se out of there, they could.
Because like you're going from like you'll be out of PJ's contract, you'll be out of Embiid's contract. You got to think Maxey's in his prime years where he's the best Maxey you got, and then VJ's just hitting
compliment
that.
Him, yeah.
He's just hitting that. So now you got like if they both reach their potentials and what we've seen they could be, we're looking at the best backcourt in the NBA. If you fill that team out, that's a modern NBA team you can win with, where you can run, gun.
All this talk we were doing about this, that's what I was trying to say. I guess
we can't do that for 2 years, no matter what.
Here's
what sucks.
We got to have Roseman go over and look at their books.
Unless Embiid retires, like you said, but that's just I don't see it happening. Not when that much money's on the line. I just put myself as a human. You tell me I gotta rough it out for 3 more years and make $180 million. I'm doing it.
Yeah, don't do a panic trade like the bait. All right, so listen, that's Sixers got a lot of things, but let's touch on this other winner team that because I feel like I feel like it's a tale of two winner teams. Like the Sixers were like, fuck, where do we go? The Flyers, the Flyers had a nice run. The Flyers were kind of, I mean, it ended bad, but it was kind of a feel-good story. I mean, so now, now you go forward with the Flyers and they made great strides. They gave Carolina a tough series. I mean, a tough series and getting swept. I mean, they were in 2 of those games. So, and now you're looking and you're in the rebuild, but now the Flyers have what, like 39 million of cap space. So like Jeff, like I guess I'll start with you. Like, we've been doing all this rebuilding. Is this the off season that Briere goes out and starts really targeting veterans to kind of rush this rebuild a little bit?
I think he's going to look just from what Jonesy and him have said. They are definitely looking for a big, how can I put it? A big name. They need and they need a center in here. They need somebody that can score. Is just a pure scorer. Okay. I know Martone came in here and scored right off and was a sensation and everything. You kind of saw he was getting tired out in the playoffs. I mean, that was pretty much, they were, as Tocchet said, they were out of juice. They were out of juice. I didn't think they would win. I thought they would win at least one game against Carolina, but Carolina and Avalanche are going to be the 2. Bank it. They're going to be the 2 in the cup. But I think the Flyers may try to go after Austin Matthews, or they may go after what's his face on the I'm going to tell you blank on his name, on the Oilers. He's done. He's had enough there. He's not going to win there. He knows that.
Who's that? Draisaitl?
No, not Draisaitl. The best player in hockey. I can totally
Connor McDavid?
Connor McDavid.
Yes. McDavid kind of wants out.
Trading him.
He wants out. Well, you'd be surprised.
Hockey, I don't see that.
But
listen, I think the Flyers gotta get out of Ristolainen if they can.
Well, they're going to look. That's a big thing now. So things. I mean, like I've been watching and reading different things, reputable things. Not some of this other bullshit that's out there. The whole situation with Michkov. Tocchet broke it down, and he basically is in his face because, one, he came into camp out of shape. Can't do that, okay? You can't. Any good coach is going to call you to task. He's not real good on his defense, and he wants him to start playing a little bit more defensive and coming back, not just being a sniper, kind of like a Mario Lemieux was. Okay? The kid's got a lot of talent, and also he doesn't want him to think that he is which happened, and we did this to him, made him the cure-all for the Flyers. This guy's going to take us to the cup. It got to his head. He really doesn't know much English. People don't know that, but he hardly knows any English yet. He understands what some of the things are being said, but he's still trying to get a lot of that into him in the system. Tocchet supposedly is going to be working with him now until the season starts to put some of this in him because they had a blowout, obviously. He didn't come to the practice, and that caused all kinds of shit. Everybody's like, oh, he's going, this and that. He just wants the kid to grow up and play hockey. The kid's got the talent. So that's where it is with Michkov. I mean, I know 1 or 2 people who know inside Flyers shit, and that's what's going on with there. Tocchet's going to actually be working with him during the off season, so that's going to be helpful there. They do need to move somebody. Ristolainen did play a lot better after the World Cup situation. He actually helped the Flyers make the playoffs.
Yeah, he didn't. I'm not saying he played bad, but
I'm just thrilled that they kicked the shit out of the Penguins because I hate the Penguins just as much as I hated Boston, and just as much as I hate the freaking Mets.
This is what I'm trying to do on the Flyers. I'm trying to get rid of Ristolainen. I'm trying to get a number 1 defender in here. I would Austin Matthews would be nice to get. They need players who can play on the power play. The Flyers did not have success in the playoffs because they don't have guys who can play on the power play. Like Zegras, nice player, not great on the power play. Michkov doesn't have anyone Michkov doesn't even get played. It's hard to know how good Michkov is when you got fucking 9 minutes of ice time. In games, you got to score. That's what doesn't make sense to me. Tocchet, cool. Tocchet's going to work with them to get back on defense. But you weren't fucking stopping Carolina from scoring. So how about you stop thinking about getting back on defense and try scoring with the best teams in the league? With that, you got to have a good power play.
What I'm saying, I don't know if you've ever played ice hockey. I have. So when I say getting back on defense, defense isn't just being back in that zone. Defense is poking your stick in there and getting involved, not getting just standing around and watching what's happening in the corners, not getting involved. You're waiting for that puck to come out. You've got to cycle in there. One guy can't be in there with 3 guys from the other team. You got to cycle in and out. Though some of these players aren't doing that, and that's what he's calling the task. Everybody's got to. It's almost like certain things in other sports. One guy goes down, the other guy rotates. He's I don't know if you've ever skated, but you got 20 or 30 seconds on the ice of full out go, and you're fucking winded. You can't even move. Your legs are done. You can barely breathe. Sometimes these guys get stuck out there for a minute because they can't get the puck out of their corner. That it takes a lot. Got guys punching in the ribs, put a stick in your ribs. You can't breathe. It's all inclusive with all that. And that's what I mean by getting back on defense and playing defensive hockey. You're not just a sniper, and that's unfortunately how he's been playing. And some of the other players have
Did
been
you ever
playing
see like Ovechkin, for example? He played. That's exactly how Michkov wants to play. Steve Stamkos from the Lightning. He wasn't cycling back. He was getting up ice. He was trying to get in transition. Them Tampa Bay teams won because they got up the ice and their fucking wings scored goals.
Okay. I would not put me.
Play defense. The Flyers had 17 shots on goal to 40 Carolina shots. Play defense.
I don't think
get up ice.
I don't think you know hockey the right way. That's not how that works.
Yeah,
I know hockey, Joe. I'll tell you that. I know.
Okay.
Guys.
So
I know hockey. I know hockey, and fucking and Taki wants you to fucking sit in there and take a slap shot to the fucking face. That's what he wants Michkov to do. He wants Michkov to lay out and take a fucking puck to the face and get 40 stitches because that's how he used to play. Because that's how you used to play back in the day. Is that how Colorado wins games? Do they win games sliding in front of the puck and getting a puck to their face? Or do they win games in transition, creating turnovers at the blue line with their speed? How do they win games? What kind of player is Michkov? Is Michkov playing more like Colorado Avalanche players? Or is he playing defensive like, I don't know, Rick Taka's teams?
What's this?
Time's yours.
No, I have a question for you. No, I hear. No,
I'm not going to go anymore. I can go into it, but
no,
I see hockey in a different way.
Wait, I have
see
a
it from the inside.
I have a question because
Sure.
Here's what I want to ask you guys. We mentioned Austin Matthews, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Flyers have Toronto's first round pick. So, all right, it's two different scenarios here. Number one, would you guys give Toronto back their first round pick along with another pick possibly and a Tippett if it meant getting Matthews? I'm on the record. I would. Okay,
I love Tippett. Tippett's a great player, but I would do it.
All right, and then number two, this guy's a winger, but he might want out of Dallas. Well, there's two guys. You got Kachuk, but you have Robertson of Dallas. I'm very intrigued by him. He's only 26 years old. He scored 40 goals. Now, listen, I like Michkov. So, right? So, do I want to get rid of Michkov? No, not necessarily. But let me ask you a question. Say you could trade the Toronto pick, another pick, and Tippett, and you get Matthews to be your center, right? You're accelerating the rebuild at that point. Do I like Michkov? Yeah. Do I think Michkov could be a really good player? Yeah. To be honest with you, though,
he's not gonna be with Taki. So if you could trade him for Robertson, you trade him for Robertson.
Well, right. That's what I'm saying. And the other thing is too, I think Michkov could be really good, but let's keep it real. I don't think that he's ever going to be an Ovechkin or a Malkin.
No, he's not.
All right.
He's going to be a complimentary. He's going to be a John LeClair on the He's going to be a John LeClair on the Legion of Doom line kind of player.
All right, so what if? Okay? So what if you could trade? Then what if you could then trade Michkov and like a TK or something and get a Robertson?
Yeah, you do it.
Do it.
Now, can you imagine?
Now you got a power play,
right? But you still would need a number one defenseman. But you might be able to figure that out. But imagine if you came away with this. What might we regret giving up Michkov early? Could that be a classic Flyers move?
I'm going to say this: might we regret giving away Cutter who's got what 50 goals this season.
Right.
You know what I mean? All because he didn't. The Flyers said, "We want you to play in Lehigh Valley for a couple weeks and then come up on the team." And they didn't want that bullshit. And he says, "I ain't playing for you." Done. So they had to trade him. I know we got Zegras and all that, but it still doesn't do what Cutter did. But
we only got Drysdale for him.
Or Drysdale. But what I say to yes, he's not Michkov is not a Eric Lindros type of player. He's not going to revolutionize the way the team is. He's a good complementary player, but he's not going to save the team. I never ever said he was going to save the team. He's a good player, but he's got some growing up to do, and he just hasn't done it.
Right. Well, that's what.
You got to give Michkov the right coach to get the most out of him. It's not Tocchet.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Tocchet wants you to play a certain way.
Yeah, but you're not going to – I know, but reality is, though, I mean, this team really, really achieved this year. They're not going to get rid of Tocchet. So
no, I know that exactly. That's what I'm saying. Michkov, if you can make a trade, part ways.
Part of the reason why they got rid of Tortorelli is because Tocchet works better with young guys than Tortorelli. Tortorelli is famously known for not playing rookies and being really tough on rookies. He was not going to get anywhere with Tortorelli. He was not going to go anywhere. So bringing Tocchet in was for an overall team. Tocchet's philosophy is a totally different philosophy. He changed two teams. And he learned a lot, too, he said, from Pittsburgh. As much as I hate Pittsburgh, him being behind the bench for Pittsburgh for a season, he's learned a lot, and he's a good coach. But he expects a lot. He expects, like I said, just not just the respect, but in general, players on the team, I don't care who they are. If somebody said we need a goalie, one of those players would say, I'll do it, whatever. You need that kind of thing. You got some of the guys who would not do that. Michkov is just, like I said, he's not the savior, and he's not going to try and make him the savior. He's going to make him a complimentary player, but he wants him to be a two-way player, a guy who can fly up the ice, as you can see, can make passes like you can't believe. But he's also going to be able to go into the corners and try and get the puck out and not just stand there and watch that shit happen, because he gets beat a lot of times that way. A lot of players, if you notice, don't take enough body. That's one thing that the Flyers I was very impressed with against Pittsburgh and against the Hurricanes is they were hits. They were hitting them, 40 times a game? That was what I was impressed with. I didn't know that they were going to hit as much as they did because I thought they were a much smaller team. But that's something that they got to do, and that's something that hopefully they'll address and get some other big guys in here and some seasoned veterans that we can get. Like you said, we got money out there. I don't think they're going to waste their money and just go after one big guy and say that's it. They need some players, and they know that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, if you could get him at, because the power play has to be the number one. The power play's got to be the number one thing. I mean,
that's hurts them so much.
Yeah, you can't beat these good. It's too hard to score 5-on-5 in the playoffs. Like, you can't beat these good teams. But like, Sean, what do you think? What do you think as far as, would you do the Matthews trade, or do you think that Toronto pick is too valuable?
Do the Austin Matthews.
Yeah,
I think he wants out of Toronto.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. You can just see it by his mannerism, his play. He just wants a fresh start, basically.
Yeah. I mean, look what I know it's not saying, but look what it did with for Zegras. Zegras was supposed to be the big guy for the Ducks, remember? He was going to be the big savior. Yeah. And then coming here, he said it's totally different here. He said the fans totally juiced me. I love this. I've never seen it. It's sold out all the time. And when you're doing good, they are on you. But when you're doing bad, they're on you even more. But that makes you go just like every other.
It should be. Yeah. It should be. Exactly. It's a love. It's just like the Eagles. It's a love-hate. The fans are passionate. Look at what they do. They follow away games, Europe games. I can go on and on, but it's just the loyalty and the love of their team.
You don't turn on the team. I mean, you don't turn on the team, because when you turn on the team, you're turning on the city. That's kind of what you do when you're in Philadelphia. And I think it was really big. I mean, look what happened with Turner. We gave him the standing O, and look what happened with him. He came out of a shell. We gave a standing O to the Flyers at the end of the season this year, and a lot of them were actually like in tears and in the locker room saying that they've never seen anything like that before. It's like out of a movie. But that
plus, these guys are young too, and
just to
be embraced.
They look like they're 15 freaking years old. Oh, God.
Yeah, but like we all said, the future's bright with this team. You got Marty McFlyer, the sky's the limit for him.
Yeah.
He's got the size, he's got the play. Just like we all can agree, you just got to build
Yeah.
off this team, spend the money, get the right players, and
Mhm.
go from there. So you're not one and done and all this other stuff. Not technically, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Get
No,
those
it's,
powerhouse players.
Yeah,
I
you know,
expect them. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Joe.
no, my bad. I was gonna say, the future is bright, but I would caution a little bit. Like, this is a big off season for Briere because the Eastern Conference is a fucking gauntlet.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like the floor, you got the Devils will be better next year. I gotta think.
Yeah.
You got the Islanders might be. The Islanders got that defenseman that's like a young Bobby
Mhm.
Orr. They're going to build around him. The Florida Panthers missed the playoffs this year. They're probably going to be better. I mean,
Because it's Chuck, but he'll be healthier. Yeah, exactly.
right? Like we can't just rest on our laurels. Like I don't think this is the off season where you could look at this team and be like, oh well, this guy's going to improve. We're going to get better because if that's the case, then I think next year we're in for a letdown and we won't make the playoffs. Like this is the off season where I feel like you got to make the move for like a young center. We mentioned Austin Matthews. I mean, there's the guy what's his name, Finelli or whatever from Columbus.
Mhm.
He's a restricted free agent, but maybe and he's young. Maybe you can work something out with them. And put an offer sheet out there. A poison pill.
I think from the Flyer standpoint, Briere and Jones were trying to find these young guys to complement a name or two to come in here, if that makes sense. Now they've got the young guys here. You guys should be discussing for all of them. Yeah, we should.
Yeah, you know what's funny, Maurice? You know what's funny, Maurice, though, to keep it real with you? I mean, I like hockey and all, but my scouting expertise was I'd go to the old neighborhood, Bustleton Avenue, and recruit some of the Russian guys that are there. You know what I mean? That would be my scouting. I have no fucking idea. You know what I mean? I'd go to what was that place? Sean, what was it? Golden
Gate, baby.
Shopping Center.
I'd be like, Golden Gate. Golden Gate.
I
remember that back in the day, man.
But all in all, we'll go to the Phillies. But all in all, the Flyers are looking up. And yes, in division, if they were in the other division, they would have been in third place. They wouldn't have been where they were.
Yeah.
They had 99 points. If you look at the other division, 99 points would have put you in third place. So they played a hell of a good year of hockey with these young guys. It just worked. And again, Vladar, it's going to take a year. See if he can do it again next year. If he can do it again next year,
I think he got embraced by the city.
And I hope that's it.
Kind of gave him his confidence.
We need a different backup.
Get somebody better than Erickson.
Yes, exactly.
Like we all can agree.
I agree. Maybe. Go ahead. Good.
I was gonna say I love the story of. Listen, I love the story of Vladar, and I don't know if I'd sign. I mean, I think I'd make him play one more year to be honest. Before because here's my thing. Like Vladar was really good this year, and let's keep it real. But I remember stories like the Roman Czechmanek. I mean, Roman Czechmanek had a hell of a year back in the day. There's a blast from the past. You know what I mean? Right, and the next thing you know, the next year he sucked. So the one thing as Flyers fans, we always have to be careful with that goalie because Vladar was great this year, and by all accounts, I mean everybody that talks about him says he's a great fucking dude. And he's a hard worker and he's a leader. So
he's a big guy, which helps too. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. You give him next year. You got to see what next year brings. And they definitely need a different backup goalie. They need a veteran backup goalie.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I'll tell you,
Diego, we can't hear you.
What happened?
Diego, we can't. He was talking.
Oh, I couldn't hear him. Okay. Well, I'll tell you a guy that always comes through, my man Jason Fine, a.k.a. Attorney Big Al. If you get hurt on the job, slip and fall, you get an accident, motor vehicles, slip and fall, workers' compensation, or personal injury claims, make sure you call this guy. He'll get you paid. He's got 3 offices throughout Philadelphia, or 3 offices throughout Pennsylvania, New Jersey, 1 in Philadelphia, PA, 1 in Cherry Hill, and 1 in Pittsburgh. So Damn, I was like this. I was like the Sixers there dropping the ball. But anyway, yeah, before we get out of here, because I know we want to touch on the Phillies. Few things on the Phils. They're playing really well. It was nice to see. What was it? Saturday night? Was it Saturday night? Trey Turner had like 4 hits.
Yeah.
I think it's.
Yeah,
I think Trey Turner got going Saturday. I think what's his face? I think Schwarber's getting hot with home. Yesterday, Schwarber and Harper went back to back. You got a good performance out of Sanchez. So Phillies are turning around, and this coming week it'll be interesting. The Phillies are up in Fenway, and I think Ranger Suarez is pitching against them on Thursday night. So, but we'll get a lot more. We'll get a lot more Phillies in the coming weeks. I just want
big thing that I'm afraid of with the Phillies. I've been saying it to my boys, but I haven't said it on here. I'm afraid Painter ain't the real thing. To me, right now, Painter looks like Aaron Nola. He has that certain look where he's just ready to get the meatball up. He doesn't. I know he's young. I know he's just starting in here. Christ, Roy Halladay was sent down to the minors when he first started and came back up, and look what his career was. But I don't know. I just don't see that. I don't know how to put it. When you look at a player and you just see some kind of fire in them, I don't see that fire in Painter. I don't know what it's just that demeanor. He kind of looks like when he throws, he kind of looks like, it's going to sound horrible, Taijuan Walker. Taijuan Walker had to look like, oh, well, let me just throw the ball up there. You want to see fire. You want to see him get pissed. You want him, when he's watching the ball go over his head for those couple home runs, he should have been throwing his glove down, getting pissed off, kicking dirt, something. He didn't do anything. As much as we hate Bowman for being like a baby, this guy just stands there. I'm thinking, oh, Christ, we got another Aaron Nola. That worries me. And then Aiden Miller worries me.
Aiden Miller's back is jacked.
For being so young, what do you do? I mean, this guy was so high on the radar for plugging in. Now what do you do?
I know that's scary because it sounds like they're really banking on him being something, and you guys, I mean, Jeff, obviously, I know you know this. Like backs don't get better as you age, So if his back's already jacked up at 20, 21, 22 years old, what's it going to be like in a few years?
I'm curious on what it is. I mean, obviously, they don't want to tell anybody. I guess so. They want the league not to know, but I'm wondering what it is with his back. Is it just stiffness? Is it something degenerative that he has? Is it something whatever? I don't know.
Scoliosis. Who knows? Yeah, man.
Just curious.
All right. So before we get out of here, the Phillies have an off night tonight. So here's the Phillies week. They have 6 games on the road. You got 3 up at Fenway in Boston, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like I said, Thursday, I think Ranger Suarez is scheduled to pitch against us. That'll be interesting. And then you got 3 in Pittsburgh, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So out of the 6 games, what is our record? And I believe we're only 3 games under 500 now. So after out of the 6 games, what is our record? And are we at 500? Actually, are we at 500 at the end of this week, or are we like right below it, or are we worse? Jeff, what do you think?
It's tough because we're going to go up against Ranger. I don't know how I feel whether we're going to light him up or whether he's going to light us up. We're going to probably go against Skeens, so I don't know what we didn't seem to have much of a problem against Skeens that one game. Actually, remember the one game that we played against Skeens that was a tough game was when Abel's debut. Remember, we were at that Beef and Beer, Joe, and Abel was Abel against Skeens. Remember? I know they were. It was like, what was it? Nothing for forever.
Yeah, I think we win like 1-0 or 2-0 or something.
Yes, yeah. And Pittsburgh, I mean, I know they're in last place again. They can score some runs, but I say 3-3.
Okay. All right, Sean, how about you?
5-1.
Wow.
5-1. Okay, I'm gonna say 4-2. So that means by the time we do this show next week, we will be 1 game under 500 with a chance playing the Reds that night with a chance to get back to 500. And I'll tell you what, a couple weeks ago, I didn't think they would be back to 500 this quick. So, kudos to kudos to Mattingly and the players for starting to play some ball because it's only what you figure next Monday's the 18th. I mean, if they could be back to 500 by the 18th, I'm starting to feel much better about the season.
You know what else scares me about the team right now? The thing that they said it was our strong point again last year, our bullpen.
I know.
Our bullpen's not that good.
No, Alvarado looks done to me.
And what's his face? I mean, Kirkering looks okay, but he still looks a little hittable.
He has that stuff in his head. I don't care what you say. After the playoffs, it's in his head.
Yeah.
He's betting. So,
I don't think those other guys are that great. That one guy that we got, what was it? Who was that one that Reed? Is it Reed? Is that his name? No, who was the one guy that we got that was supposed to be really good from the Pirates? He hasn't really turned out to be that great.
What guy from the Pirates?
We got the reliever.
I don't know. I don't.
I think he's on the. I think half of them are on the IL.
Yeah, I know because I'm looking. I mean,
and our problem is we don't really have anybody in our minor league system. That's what we need to do. We need to start wheeling and dealing some minor league players and getting some other players in that might be able to do something. We got to. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say. I'll tell you one thing that's good because that New York takeover really sucked yesterday. But at least the New York Mets are 15-25.
I love it. I love it that they suck. Lindor looks like he's done.
Yeah.
What's going on with him? And what's his face? Tatis and is having a lot of problems out there in San Diego. They want to trade his ass. Castellanos, they're ready to drop him. He's got like a 105 batting average.
Yeah, I know, and it's not like he's the best in the clubhouse, so I can't imagine they
Yep.
So, but anyway, all right, guys. Well, look, we'll be back. We'll be back next week. Hopefully the Phillies go on a nice run. Sean, I hope you're the one that's right because you said 5-1. So if I'm going to hope for something,
nice.
You're right.
Nice.
And then me at 4-2, I could deal with that. 3-3, Jeff. I hope. No offense. I hope you're wrong on that one.
I do too. I hope I'm wrong too. Hey, no offense taken. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, I didn't even see. I've been so wrapped up in the playoffs. I didn't even see this. The Padres are actually tied with the Dodgers for first place. Padres are playing some good baseball. And how about those Cubs? The Cubs. It looks like the Cubs are right behind the Braves. You got the Braves at 28-13, and then you got the Cubs at 27-14. So two.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the. Yeah, now that's the one thing. National League's pretty tough this year, so the Phillies are really going to have to break their balls getting in these playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good rookies or second-year players especially in the National League East, like on the Nationals and on Florida. They got some pretty good no-name players playing there.
To put it in perspective, guys, the National League has a lot of good teams. The American League only has 3 fucking winning teams.
Yeah,
the American League, you got Tampa Bay 26-13, Yankees 26-15. Mm-hmm. In the Central, you got the Guardians 21-21, 500, and then you got the A's at 21-19. The rest of the whole American League is under 500.
Wow.
So it just goes to show you, thank God the Phillies are playing good baseball now because the National League right now is much stronger than the American.
I haven't looked, but what is it? What are the Dodgers? What's their record?
Dodgers and the Padres are both 24-16.
No, okay.
Dodgers got off to a great start.
Yeah,
they've been kind of chilling, but to be honest with you, I mean the Dodgers have played a lot of baseball the last couple years. I mean they're probably chilling. They know once October comes, they've proven they know how to win. They can win on the road. I mean, they beat us here. They beat us. They beat us here, and obviously they beat Toronto in Toronto when they had to. So, they can win on the road. So I don't think they're sweating it too much.
I'll tell you one quick story that they say it actually is verifiably true that we signed Trevor Bauer 2 years ago. But the league ruled against it. They wouldn't let him come here
because of the rape allegations. Yeah,
What was after that? Remember, it was dropped. He was.
Yeah.
It was dropped, but for
It
whatever.
would have been nice. I'd still take him. Dude's throwing heat.
I don't know now. I mean, I don't know if he's not doing that great in minor league right now, but he did okay over in Japan. He kicked ass in Japan.
Yeah, I think
it's too late. Like you said, it's probably too late now. But
I mean, he's by a lot of people's accounts, he's kind of a JO. People say, but it is kind of bullshit though. In one respect, like the rape allegations were unfounded. So I mean, I do kind of think it's fucked up that the guy can't get a job. I mean, if a team wants to sign him, if he did that shit, then yeah, obviously, fuck him. I mean. But it came back unfounded. Like to me, I think that's kind of jerked off. Like somebody makes an allegation and then you're fucked forever in your life. I mean, if he didn't do it, like that's not fair.
Joe, think about it this way, and this is something that Kim has always thought about. Kim was in preschool for all those years, and any kid can go home for whatever reason and just say, "Oh yeah, Mrs. Damasio touched me today," not saying like on my shoulder or my neck. And a teacher calls or a parent calls up a teacher. Kim would be out of a job. First thing they would do is say, "You're not coming in."
Right.
Plain and simple. You're like guilty before innocent. Yes, I know there's a lot of these schools and these teachers and all this bullshit that's going on, but that's the problem. And some of these, I mean, I know some of these guys are just absolute dirt bags and stuff, but obviously the innocent before guilty is just gone.
Yeah,
I mean, Michael Vick. I credit Andy Reid with doing some of the stuff that he's done. And one of the things with bringing Michael Vick back, as much as I love dogs and I hate what he did, I wish a dog would maul him to death. I thought that him bringing him back and doing what he did was a pretty good act, and he played pretty well, and I respect him for that.
Yeah, and the one thing about Michael Vick, it seems like he really turned his life around. You know what I mean? So
he grew up.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not, I'm not one of those people that's like, I mean, certain things, obviously, like if you do some real fucked up shit, then fuck you. You know what I mean? But like certain things, like, I think people deserve second chances in a lot of ways, so.
And Bauer, like I said, I mean, he was charged once. Remember before, I think it was something before that too, that somebody had said something that he used to be into S&M or something, and he beat up a woman real bad or something, but she never really reported it. But then this situation came out, and that's, we all know where this one went. Then he was gone. Baseball just didn't want a blemish on that. But that, that probably comes down to the commissioner saying, no, don't want you in this sport. We don't need the bad press.
Yeah, I hear you, but
what do you do? I mean,
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, look, thanks to everybody for checking us out. Sorry that we, wasn't anticipating both teams being eliminated, but it is what it is.
Sorry, I pissed off. Sorry, I pissed off Diego and kicked him off the show. No, I didn't kick him.
Yeah. So hopefully, everybody Phillies have a great week, and see
I hope
everybody.
I'm wrong.
Go Phils.
I hope I'm wrong. There you go.
Strong, let's break the mold. Chasing the stories yet unfold. Passion ignites like a blazing fire. Knowledge takes us higher, higher. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. Alive with endless dreams. We're more than stats, we're the in-between. A slam dunk.